What's going on, guys? I want to nerd out for a little bit. If you don't mind, I will say straight off the rip, Dynasty Warriors is a good game. I like it. It plays great. I don't think I've ran into any real technical issues, except for one little issue that I don't like, and maybe it's just me. The settings, when I go to 120 frames per second, it will knock it back to 60 every single time a cutscene plays, and never goes back to 120. So I don't know if maybe I'm doing something wrong. I swear it's just 120, be done, keep going. But no, it does kick it back. It even warns you that it will go back to 60 during like cutscenes. But I think it's stupid that it never goes back to 120. So it should fluctuate on its own. But overall, I have to say the game has been fantastic and fun. I'm laughing at it for some things. The English dub seems weird. I put it back in Japanese. It feels better. It's more fluent. But the English dub just felt funny. And even the people that were in my live stream were even mentioning it just sounded kind of weird. So I did change that. And now it's back in Japanese. It definitely feels a lot more, I don't know, authentic would be the way to put it. And a lot of other things is the mechanics. The mechanics are fantastic. It feels like a Warriors game should, but it just plays so much better, a lot more smooth. And the abilities are really cool, which I'm not used to the abilities because I'm used to Samurai Warriors, like I said, and Hyrule Warriors, stuff like that. Which Hyrule Warriors probably would have more of an affiliation to how Dynasty plays because like the superpower. While like Samurai Warriors usually just freezes time and you just go into a little battle rage moment. But in this one, while you also have a rage moment too, you have the, and I don't want to mispronounce it, so M-U-S-O-U, Musu or something. I might be saying that completely wrong. But you have an ability that is completely different for every item you use, and it's super cool. And it's super powerful. It just like obliterates everything or does like a chunk of damage to like your enemy. On to a few things that I usually am terrible at. The parry system. I'm actually pretty good at it and get lucky a lot. Like I said, there's hordes in this. Okay, this was actually pretty dense. It's got way a bigger army than any of the other ones I played, where you really only had like 30 people around you. This one you can actually see pretty far in the distance, and you can actually see the army. Like, yeah, they still spawn in and out. I think that's just the way their engine runs. But at the same time, they do stay. Like, they come in densely. And you can literally fight through them in a densely populated spot and get overrun really quick if you end up running into more than like 3 captains. And the 3 captains thing, like, or more, is pretty chaotic, to say the least. I'm loving that fact that because I'm a dense player, and I don't mean this in any other way, I'm just really hard-headed, and I always end up doing the hardest thing first, and I have to replay missions like a lot. I do it all the time. You've never seen it. Watch me stream it. I'm a super hard-headed person. Unfortunately, probably not going to be as hard-headed since now I'm getting more of an understanding and a grip on it. And a lot of the stuff in it, like I said, is so fantastic. I just can't stop gushing over it. Maybe it's because ADHD brain, just it's so many things just going on at once. I'm not just feeling super, like, it's just so easy to take care of it. It's not like, oh, these 50,000 things are going on, my brain's going to overload. It's like, oh, I got all these things that I can just beat up and kill and get points. Oh, and then the end is just XP and ranks, which is fantastic. And then it has a list of weapons, which I've only unlocked, I think, 5. And so far, the little disc blades are absolutely fun. I'm liking them. They're a good, mix between being able to, like, wipe out a little bit of crowd control, which usually my main in like warrior games was anything with a spear, because you could crowd control easily with a spear. And in this one, so far, I don't have a good spear. I don't know if it's because I have like the deluxe edition that I got some, better weapons, and probably is what happened. And where I'm at, I got the, I think like tier 3 weapons, and I only have 2 of them. But that doesn't take away from any of it. I'm still enjoying all the different things, because another thing they have, which like I said, I didn't play the Dynasty Warrior game, so I'm only going off of this one. Every weapon has a rank, and every rank you get with a weapon also goes to your overall rank, basically, that gives you rank points for extra tiers. You have a full rank system where you have, like, tier 1, I forget the names, but you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and it's a grid, a very small grid, and you pick the abilities that you also get XP points, basically, for. Well, I'm calling them XP points. I can't exactly remember what they're called. But you get those from winning battles, winning mini missions. You don't get a lot from mini missions, but you do get a lot for doing story missions, which can allow you to clear a few grids or a few of the slots pretty quickly and easily. And it's super simple, so dumb brain like me can just deal with it. And it's still like so well done. Like you get you get added stat bonuses, plus 5 to health, stuff like that. Everything that you would find in an RPG is still in this. The key components are still in this. You still get certain weapons that have certain like rolls on them. So you'll have increase to how much damage you would do or how much health you get, all this, that, and the other. So it still has a few little nitpicks from usual RPGs, which I'm pretty familiar with on other games. But with Warriors, I don't remember a lot of that. I'm still kind of, the cogs are turning, trying to remember all this. But I would like to get back to a little bit of some of the mechanics, back to a little bit of the core. So, like, we'll just say parrying, for instance, because parrying is my weakest link. I cannot parry to save my life, like, at all. I'm terrible at parrying. I've tried it in so many games. I will say as far back, and equally as far back as some of the Warrior games, going back to just God of War, which was like my first time parrying, and I was terrible at it. I couldn't do it then. I could do it in the new God of War a lot better, but I could not do it in the old ones. I could sometimes, but when I say parrying is my weakness, that is literally it. In Dark Souls, I'm terrible. Just can't do it. Never have. I may get lucky sometimes, but when parrying is the answer to a boss, I just can't do it. And in this one, like I said, it's luck, but it's fairly easy to do. It happens all the time, and it helps chip away at the health, and also this defense thing they have, where it's like you can chip away at it and put them in a vulnerable state to where you can actually use an assault ability, which would just like wipe a good chunk of health off, which is no different than like using Musu, or I'm probably saying the name wrong, but using the Musu abilities, which would actually use about the same thing, but it doesn't take as long. Now to get down to like the boss fights, I only fought the first major boss so far, and it was pretty interesting. It's 2 phases. You fight it, and he goes down, then an army comes in, and your army comes in. They fight while you fight some of the captains. At least that's how I did it. And then you fight the main baddie, which was basically Madara. That's what it seemed like to me. I felt like I was playing Naruto, and it was just Madara attacks and like clones all the time. It was really weird. But overall, it was pretty neat. It was fun. I didn't hate it. It did seem like it dragged on longer than it should have. I don't know if that's what to know, like how it's going to feel going forward. Oh, speaking of like Naruto comparisons, he also has this like his eyes. He's got this ability to where you can like see through incense, is what they call it. It's basically a fog that they produce that's supposed to give hallucinations and stuff like that. So basically, he has eyes that can see through incense genjutsu, which is hilarious. It makes like fog monsters and stuff where like there's this unbeatable army that keeps regenerating, but it really comes down to the incense you can find. Now, the eyes are really functional in certain aspects to me, outside the story part where it's like, oh, you can see through the incense and help, aid our war. It's when you can actually use the sight to kind of pan the entire map. Essentially, you're not like over it. You're from the point of where you're at, and you just can kind of look over, and you can see everybody's health, including enemies, and the party that's fighting. So it kind of helps, at least for me, to know which area to go for next, to try to make sure none of my captains, and I'm calling everybody captains, anything that is supposed to have a health bar, or boss, basically, anything that is more of a threat, I will look and see if their health bar is low, so I can go help them, because it still has I don't know what point they did this, or if it's been like this forever, but when you go to help your companion, they heal a little bit, or quite a bit, and then you can go help them by fighting. Now, like I said, still early on, so there's still a lot to unlock, a lot more fun to have. I know replay, for me, is always, as long as I can just keep leveling up for stupid reasons, and then go back to like level 1, or the first area of the map or whatever, which you can do chapter selection, and just go in there and like one-shot shit. I love that. And I know in the old Samurai games, you could kind of do something similar to that effect, to where once you get to a certain level or get certain weapons, you could go back and do dumb shit. And they always had little items that give you a little increase of power, which comes back with this. You do get like trinkets and stuff, and you get these gems where you collect these things throughout the open world map, which is not bad. It's just odd. I just found it a little weird. I think it would have just been better to have an open world map you don't walk around, and it was just like a pegboard. That's been a thing in a couple Warrior games, and I find it functional. I find it useful. I think that would have been probably, I don't know if it would save space. It probably would have. I think it would have just been a better idea to me. It's not really a nitpick saying the game's bad. It's fine. I just would have preferred probably a pegboard that would have been a little bit faster to maneuver. But I don't know, maybe they're just tacking on just a little bit of runtime that way. But still, it's nothing to just take away. It's still a good game. Traversing it's not hard. You can still find everybody, which actually is kind of neat to be able to traverse that way too, because you're looking for hidden characters that will give you little bitty things here and there, which is also helpful. So like you can use the eye vision thing I'm talking about. It will show you the weight on the map, but you can also see little glows of people if they're kind of like covered a little bit by some of the terrain. And if you can get to that part of the map, you can go run into, basically, they're called elders or old men. Really, they're just brothers that talk to each other, apparently. Because I've ran into 2 of them, and they just give you items to help you with the game. That's about all they do. Then you got these old coins. Haven't figured out what those are for yet. I think I'm supposed to find out now. Actually, I stopped playing before I can figure it out. But I think it's supposed to, I'm supposed to figure it out at this point in time in the game. But guys, I think I'm done gushing. Like I said, I recommend it. If you're not big on them, I don't know, wait for a sale maybe. If you are, it's definitely pretty fun. I'm liking it. I got the bigger bundle, so I got a few things with it. I don't know exactly what I got. Pretty sure that's where I got the weapons. I think I already said that, but I'm pretty sure that's where I got the weapons. Or at least some of the little bit extra helping hand in the beginning of the game as far as with weapons. But, a lot of the money's easy to get. It's pretty simple, easy to grasp, not hard to play. I don't know how to say it's simple. It's super overwhelming if you don't like a lot of enemies at one time. It can do that. With that all being said, like I said, fantastic game. But that's about all I can say. Y'all have a good one.